We come across many different stories online nowadays that many people might doubt or believe could be fake. Many urban legends also might spread, which can leave a blurred line between fact and fiction. But when you realize that truth can be stranger than fiction, you might come across some real stories that send an even stronger chill down your spine. From plots from horror movies coming to life, to urban legends that were just legends, here are scary stories that were true.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm your host American Eye, bringing to you another possibly haunted or creepy video.
Number 12. Crazy candles. Each and every day, plastic surgeons perform all kinds of different surgeries, including liposuction. During this process, fat is basically vacuumed out of a person and is known for being an easy way to lose weight. Many people don't always ask their plastic surgeon what exactly happens to the fat after it gets sucked out of them. Some rumors started floating around, and the more you look into it, the more you realize that liquefied human fat is more valuable than you would think. It became so lucrative that even the mafia got involved and would make deals with plastic surgeons. Why would people want this kind of fat? It turns out that back in ancient Europe, there were strange pagan rituals that were performed, which included making fat candles from a criminal who was sent to the gallows. The ritual is known as the Hand of Glory, which can apparently bring magical powers if you do it. Number 11. Adoption deception. If you're familiar with the film called The Orphan, then you might be familiar with this next strange story that actually happened. In the movie, a family adopted a young girl, but it turned out that she was actually a little bit too mature for her age. Just recently, an American couple realized that they made a similar error after adopting a Ukrainian girl. They found out that she wasn't really a little girl and found out that she was actually a little person who suffered from a rare form of dwarfism. The cute 6-year-old that they picked out from the orphanage was actually a violent grown-up woman who was pretending to be a child. The mother came forward and said that she was really a 30-year-old woman, although there is still some speculation on her exact age. Due to her condition, she'll never be able to grow more than 3 feet tall. The adoptive parents were charged with neglect and claimed that she was actually a 30-year-old sociopath, making them not guilty of any crimes. It's a little bit crazy how it resembles the plotline to the movie The Orphan that was made in 2009. Let us know what you think about this case in the comment section. Number 10. Frozen. Modern medicine has come a long way, but either some people just aren't doing their job right, or we still got a lot to learn. In any case, this simply shouldn't have happened. In 2011, it was presumed that an 80-year-old woman had expired after a heart attack. She was put inside a freezer locker inside the morgue, presumably no longer alive. Fast forward just a few days later, when funeral workers came to get the body. What they found was shocking. The body bag was unzipped, suggesting that she woke up. The woman certainly seemed like she'd been put in there alive, and due to the bruises on her hands, she tried to forcibly exit the freezer locker. It's hard to believe that no one actually heard her struggle. Her demise would be a result of hypothermia, and we assume that those morticians felt pretty guilty. Number 9. Doe Face. If you were a kid growing up in Pittsburgh in the early 1900s, there was an urban legend moving around about a man who didn't actually have a face and lived somewhere underneath bridges. He'd wander around the dark alleyways at night, and he lost his face from being electrocuted. He got the nickname of Charlie No Face, and he had a reputation similar to the boogeyman. But this one was all too real. Here in the photo, we see the man with the actual name of Raymond Robinson, and you have to wonder what life would have been like looking like him. He was born with a normal face, but one day, a freak accident happened when he was playing around on an electrical trolley. He received 1,200 volts directly to the face. He would survive the ordeal, but his face, not so much. He became somewhat of an outcast in the process. Raymond then preferred the life of solitude to avoid a life of ridicule from other people. Number 8. Mind control. If somehow you can control the mind, you can have total control over someone and find out whatever information you're looking for. Many people would have told you that you were crazy for believing that there was some kind of government mind control project and just say you were a conspiracy theorist. Mind-altering substances, some capable of permanent memory loss, were actually experimented with. Other chemicals that can knock you out in a second, and even a substance that will promote illogical thinking, were all part of a sneaky little program called MKUltra. The main substance that they experimented with was, of course, LSD, which would cause mind-blowing hallucinations. Other things that they experimented with as a part of the project included hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, and/or psychological torture. They needed some way to extract information from someone as quickly as possible from captured spies. Once they were intoxicated, they then tested interrogation techniques. Sometimes truth can be stranger than fiction, and we recommend that you look into this one for yourself. The CIA also holds archives of this project on their public website, free to explore. Number 7. Carnival Mummies. Carnivals can get extremely creepy sometimes, especially with all the clowns and the nomadic carnies trying to scam everyone. But it gets even creepier with this urban legend that turned out to be true. A group of traveling carnival workers were using the mummy in order to scare kids in various different ways. But everyone was wondering, how could they make it look so real? The carny folks were keeping some sort of grim secret from the kids, and turns out it was a real mummy on display inside one of those cheesy scary rides. One of the carnies from the past had actually robbed a train that was on its way to a cemetery that was carrying an embalmed outlaw. After grabbing himself some whiskey, he took the mummy too, thinking it was a great prop. Someone got a little bit curious and grabbed the mummy and found out it was real. Number 6. Who's got the meats? Imagine going to your local Arby's, you order a big roast beef sandwich. As you're getting ready to bite into it, your mouth begins to water, and you get a bite of meat that you weren't expecting to eat. It's a little bit chewier than usual, and you spit it out. You discover that someone had cut off their finger and it was in your sandwich. A woman had her finger cut off clean with a meat slicer, and she didn't alert anyone about it. The workers there claim it was a freak accident, and it was certainly not on purpose. Accident or not, the kid eating it must have been traumatized by the whole event. It certainly was not finger looking good. Let us know in the comments section what the grossest thing you've ever found in your food was, and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video. Number 5. The Upside Down Room. While this isn't creepy in the same sense as the last one, it's pretty surprising that people were able to pull this off. Working as a housekeeper lady at hotels must be some tough work sometimes, and I bet she was scared when she walked in there. An anonymous hotel worker reported online that a fairly popular band was staying at their hotel that night. They had received some noise complaints from people staying at the hotel too. She went up there to clean it and found out that the band had left something kind of frightening for her, and her discovery was shocking. Everything that was on the floor was somehow nailed to the ceiling. Not a single piece of furniture remained where it was originally placed. How did they pull this off? The hotel worker was amused, but certainly not the manager. Number 4. The cursed Japanese Kleenex commercial. The tissue company Kleenex made this commercial in the 1980s. Many people found the music in the background of this ad to be extremely bizarre. The woman sounded like she was chanting a German curse hymn in addition to it already being a strange ad. Not long after making this, a horrifying curse was put onto all those who had something to do with the commercial. The child you see here, dressed like an ogre, suffered from horrible nightmares and became severely ill. His mother went mentally insane and had to be admitted to a mental hospital. The woman in the tissue ad is still doing okay, but is unable to have children. The cameraman who shot it, we'll just say he went into a sauna and never came out. Number 3. Whale oil on satellites. Whale oil has been banned for quite some time now, but some claim that there is some evidence to believe that NASA has been using it on satellites. This was first mentioned on a History Channel documentary, and NASA responded that it wasn't true. However, many claim that NASA isn't being truthful once again. Whale oil is a lubricant that will not freeze under sub-zero temperatures and will work perfectly on machinery in outer space. Unless a synthetic substitute was developed, it's rather difficult to see how some other machinery can operate in such conditions. Number 2. Cropsey. An insane asylum on Staten Island, New York was extremely overcrowded with people who had severe mental disorders. Anyone in New York at the time with a mental or physical mutation were locked up here. When a surprise documentary was displayed on national television, many people were appalled by the conditions. Atrocities occurred that you don't even want to know about, which caused the facility to close its doors. But where did everybody go? Many say that once this happened, children in Staten Island were kidnapped by an insane man who once lived there. This mysterious man, allegedly with a hook for an arm, would then take the kids back to the abandoned Willowbrook. Rumors of ghosts or boogeymen are still reported in this location. Number 1. Annabelle, the Cursed Doll. Could anything seem more horrifying than a cursed doll? It turns out that the movie, Annabelle, was based on a true story. Annabelle the doll was found at an antique shop that dates back to the 1970s. As soon as a little girl named Donna brought it home, she began to notice things that weren't quite right. The doll would unexpectedly move around different locations when Donna wasn't paying attention. She brushed it off as forgetfulness, but from then on, it only escalated. The doll would mysteriously have drops of blood on its skirt and seemingly walk around. After taking it to a psychic investigator, they claimed that it was possessed by a demon and that it was after her soul. The doll now sits at a museum in a case and warns people not to open it.
So which one did you think was the scariest? Let us know in the comments section and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video.